meet you?
Huh?
He was pretty surprised to meet you? So he was pretty surprised to find out that you were the
Oh, yeah,
pilot?
he was surprised to find out that the pilot was a woman.
Now, you told me earlier that your husband, as a petroleum engineer, was a really bad passenger when you flew him around. Why was that?
Oh, he was the worst passenger I had. He didn't know how to fly, but as soon as he always sat in the co-pilot seat, and he'd look at all those instruments, and if they weren't exactly the same, well, he wanted to know why, although they'd been, they were synchronized, but that didn't matter to him. He wanted the gauges to be synchronized also. So I tried not to fly him any more than I had to.
You're doing great. Did you have a car at this point, or just a plane and a bike? What was that like?
No, I didn't have a car. Cars were hard to find and hard to get, and also hard to pay for. And so I just take my bicycle and ride out to the airport. I don't think a pilot could do that now.
So even though your husband wasn't the best passenger, he helped you basically own an airplane for many years.
Yes, he did.
And you did a lot of flying around Texas. What was that like? Was that fun?
Well, I liked that, and he accepted me. He finally acted like he didn't mind me flying him.
So after this, you are flying around in Texas. You served as a Texas Historical Commissioner for a while. What was that? What was that job like? What did that involve?
Well, it was. They just wanted to reserve the historical things of Texas, and that's what it was about. Just there you go.
Maxine, how much did you stay in touch with your friends who flew with you in the WASPs during the war?
Well, I kept in touch with 3 or 4. And one of them lived in New Braunfels, Texas, which was fairly close to where I was from. So I saw her quite often. And another one was in Los Angeles, pretty close to where my mother lived at the time, so I saw her frequently.
When did the formal reunions where a lot of WASPs got together, when did that start?
I can't remember when it started, but it was an important thing for us. And so sometimes, even now, we meet with the nurses, and because there's not too many of WASP left. And at that time, there weren't too many WASP anyway. So, does that answer your question?
Sure does. Maxine, in the 1970s, and we talked about this with your daughter as well, the San Antonio media and the national media had a lot of stories about the first time that female pilots would serve as military pilots.
Yes, it came out in the paper that the first military pilots were then, and we'd been flying military aircraft a long time before that, so we had to set them straight.
In 1977, when the WASPs gained military recognition and got military benefits, what was that like? How did that make you and your fellow WASPs feel?
Well, I don't think it impressed me a whole lot. I just accepted it. Just routine acceptance.
Now, your daughter sent me an article about you. In 1978, President Jimmy Carter sent you a personally signed letter appointing you as one of 6 governors on the USO World Board. What did that job involve? What was that like?
Well, we met. I can't remember what we did, but we were furthering the USO, and the USO was pretty important to the military people. It was a home away from home. I think that's what they called it.
We saw a picture on the video of you there with Mr. Bob Hope. Do you remember that?
Yes. Uh-huh.
What happened there?
Well, we were assigned out to California, and Mr. Hope invited the WASP delegation, the USO delegation, not the WASP delegation, the USO. He invited us to his home for dinner, and of course we went. And it was very nice. And he was very nice, too.
You talked about WASPs getting together and having reunions. The WASPs established the Order of Fee Finella.
Yes.
And she's the Disney symbol that you have on the WASP patches.
Uh-huh.
You were the president of that association for 2 years. What was that like?
Well, it was just like being president of any organization. You had to see that it was ongoing, and whatever they wanted to do, you wanted to see that it was done.
After the war, you took some time off from flying. You started a family. When did you pick up flying again? What was that like?
You know, I can't remember what motivated me again. I guess I always wanted to fly. That's a motivation right there, isn't it? So.
Do you remember the last time you flew?
No, I don't. I don't remember. But it's been a while.
In 2009, the Congress gave you guys the Congressional Gold Medal.
Huh?
And you and your daughter went there to D.C. in
Yes.
Washington in 2010. Can you tell us a little bit more about that trip and what you saw?
Well, that was it. We went to Washington to receive the Congressional Gold Medal, and I should have brought it here to show everybody, because we were each one given a copy, so it wasn't just one original, it was a lot of them at that time.
Now, when we went to visit you in Corpus about a month ago, you told me a story of when you got home with the gold medal, and you showed it to everyone, and at first nobody was interested. What happened next?
Well, I don't remember, but nobody seemed particularly interested in that.
And then a news story came out in the national media. And what happened after that? They came to you and asked to see the medal afterwards?
I don't know. I'd show the medal to anybody that want to look at it. I'm still ahead of him.
Maxine, the 3rd Coast Squadron in Alice, I think, the Commemorative Air Force,
Corpus Christi.
is named after you. How does that make you feel to know that they have a hangar named in your honor?
Well, I'm just proud that they wanted to name it after me. Very happy about that. Although they don't always put the Maxine Flournoy in front of the 3rd Coast Squadron, that's just too many letters to have to print.
Maxine, if you were talking today to, let's say, a young girl who came up to you and said that she wanted to be a pilot, what advice would you give her?
I'd tell her to go ahead and try. You can't accomplish anything unless you want to try. And so I would tell her to try and do the best she can, do everything that that is required.
And what do you think is the legacy of the WASPs and what you guys accomplished in World War II and since then and everything you've done for the community?
Well, I think we introduced women to military lives more than anything. And that's all I know. Did I answer that right?
Sure. Maxine, we're almost done. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Well, Maxine, on behalf of all of the children and grandchildren of the WASPs, thank you so much for everything you've done. Thank you for the inspiration, not only to females in aviation, but to everybody who flies planes and everybody who serves their country. And it's been an honor to meet you this week, to talk to you,
Thank you.
and to meet your daughter. And I know she's really proud of the fact that she considers you a great American and a great patriot, and we really appreciate everything you've done. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay.